You know what? I don't care who the coach is. I don't give a rat's ass who the coach is. I'm listening now, all these great coaches. I'll tell you what. Tell me the best goaltender, and I'll tell you who probably is the best coach. Okay?
Was this a closer series than 5, or are they embarrassed a little bit of being out so early? Sebastian Aho had a very, very candid post-game press conference where he just talked about we're not close, and really stressed his disappointment and how they did not really take a step forward in all of this. And they're not selling it that way for Carolina. And I thought Carolina could win this series. I really did. I thought that they were going to make it close, and there were signs of Tampa Bay's game throughout the regular season that suggested if you catch them in a weak spot, maybe they can be had. But I don't know. It wasn't that close, was it?
Well, you know what? It was close 5-on-5 as far as play, but the power play, like, two guys really jump out at me in this whole series. Number one is Brayden Point. I mean, how many times we have to talk about how good, like, was he not the difference maker in this series? He and Vasilevsky. They, to me, and I know the power play, I get, but what Braden Point is able to accomplish through 2 rounds of the playoffs, and what Vasilevsky did in this series with the shutout and the clincher and on, this guy has become, I mean, right now, Carey Price and he are the two by far the best goalies in the playoffs for me. Well, I know, with all due respect to Fleury, but I'm telling you, Point, what about Braden Point? Like, seriously, Nick.
45 points, Mac, in 34 playoff games.
Amazing.
And as strong as a player he is very quickly putting himself in a position to have one of those all-time reputations for being a clutch performer in history, Mac. That's where he's climbing right now.
You want to believe it. And I mean, we talk Kucherov, we talk Stamkos, we talk Hedman, and they deserve a ton of respect. But this guy has become the glue guy with this team. The other thing that jumped, besides Vasilevsky, the depth. I mean, every line was coming at you. Remember last year, it was Goudreau, Coleman, and Gord was a line that came at you. All of a sudden, the fourth line started to come at you. You know, you all of a sudden have got those guys pounding away at you as well. You know, with
Ross.
Colton scores. I mean, it just was all 4 lines. All of a sudden, will battle. And we talk about it every night when we're watching playoff hockey. Who's going to battle the hardest? Montreal Canadiens or Toronto Maple Leafs? That out. Who's going to battle harder? Colorado, Vegas. We're finding that. Who's going to battle harder? You know, that it's every night. And right now, they're a pretty battle-ready team. Last year, all we talked about was Goudreau, Coleman, Cirelli. Now, all of a sudden, you talk Gord. Now you got to talk 4 lines at battle with Tampa Bay. And we haven't even talked about their friggin' blue line.
Yeah,
that is as good as any in the game.
I think the biggest compliment that you can give Tampa Bay is that, and we just spoke of him, Braden Point played less than 18 minutes. How can a guy do that every night in the playoffs and make you feel like he's playing 25 or 26 minutes when he's under 18?
I know. I mean, he makes the most of his time. I mean, he makes plays on the power play constantly. He wins puck battles for a guy that's not big. He leads rushes. I mean, his hockey IQ, I never envisioned his hockey IQ when he first started going to this level. I didn't know him in the Western League like lots of guys did and raved about him. I mean, his hockey IQ is over the top. And you know, but there's so many guys, you know, with this group. Killorn makes big plays at critical times. Kucherov does. Stamkos does. Gord does. Cirella does. It just goes on and on with this group. you know?
And like you said, we didn't even get to the blue line.
Yeah.
And Chernak and Sergachev, you're not even mentioning Hedman and McDonough yet.
And Savard. And
that's how deep they are. And while
right.
you know, you wanted to shore up your offense with trades like Foligno and Hall, but Mac, you win championships from the net on out. Securing that blue line with Savard, while others like Winnipeg, you know, are barely keeping their head above water on their blue line. It's mind-boggling that people didn't push harder for a guy like David Savard.
I mean, you and I talked about David Savard till we're blue in the face before the trade deadline. I mean, I know other people were, but we really said, look, so here's the thing. What happens most at playoff time? Teams change the way they drive the net, the way you go to the paint, the way you drive the net, the way you force pressure on the opposition's goaltenders, the way you force pressure on the opposition's defense is you got to go to the net. So you've got to be able to defend that. You got to be able to defend net presence. And Winnipeg, not even close to being able to do it. And Toronto, we're not even close to being able to do it. And you know what? Tampa Bay defend the net. I'll tell you that. Montreal have defended the net. And with all due respect, their goaltenders have been terrific besides that. But it's still a critical part. And Savard, the fact that Winnipeg Jets didn't get Savard blows me away. I know there was a great family connection there. Dubois lived at his house. I thought it was a natural. And for whatever reason, they decided not to give up the assets to get him. Well, I think they could have given up the assets, and I think they could have re-signed him. That's what I think. But maybe I'm wrong.
Interesting to hear Brindamore's comments about Vasilevsky. And we know that Brindamore in his heyday saw some of the best in Patrick Waugh, Hasek, Brodeur, Cujo, Mike Richter, who won the Stanley Cup with I was fortunate enough to be in '94 with him. And he says he's as good as he's ever seen Vasilevsky, which is an incredible comment.
You and I talked about it. We remember that 5 overtime game with Vasilevsky and Korpisalo a year ago. That's when I knew he was a good goaltender. I had heard lots about him when he was drafted. We heard all about him in Russia. But that was, to me, his unbelievable coming out party. And I'll tell you what, he hasn't dropped. I mean, I didn't think he was great in the Florida series. I didn't think they were great in the Florida series. Give some credit to Florida. But I'll tell you what, I listened to Brindamore, and when he was doing the handshake, you saw the conversation. And then I read it this morning, what he had actually said. And he's right on. This guy is dialed in. He's dialed in, as is Carey Price dialed in. And you know what? I don't care who the coach is. I don't give a rat's ass who the coach is. I'm listening now, all these great coaches. I'll tell you what. Tell me the best goaltender, and I'll tell you who probably is the best coach. Okay?
Yeah.
Peter DeBoer. I listen to McGuire talk then. Oh, technically he's made some big. I'm thinking bullshit. Fleury's making huge saves. Yeah, there's some subtle changes. If you don't have unbelievable goaltending, you're a shit coach. Okay? Simple as that.